Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you all are doing well. And in today's session, we are going to discuss about IPv6 DNS Takeover and NTLM Relay. We already performed in the previous session, we already performed SMB relay attack. So we know the concept of relaying the NTLM, but we will more focused about the IPv6 DNS takeover and DHCP version 6 spoofing in today's session. Fine. So all these things start from the IPv6 configuration or IPv6 that is by default enabled in modern Windows machines like Windows 10 and Windows 11. So whenever you install Windows 10 or Windows 11 machine, by default you will find that IPv6 is enabled and also preferred over the IPv4. By default, your machines will work on IPv6. So your machines will also try to communicate across the network or within the network over the IPv6. And all these machines periodically they send the broadcast and they look for the IPv6 DHCP server or DNS server so that they can get the IPv6 configuration over their network adapters, and they can resolve the names or find the resources with the name over IPv6. Fine. So as I mentioned, because most of the time I see that the network team is not using IPv6, so there is usually no IPv6 DHCP server or DNS server configured on the network. Fine. Now, because machines are just sitting there and periodically sending out requests asking, is there any IPv6 route out there? Okay, so they keep asking these things periodically. Fine. And waiting for an answer that never comes because the IPv6 DHCP server or IPv6 DNS server is not there in the network. Fine. So now if the attacker connects to the local network or sit inside the same network and listen those broadcasts that automatically generated from the Windows client machines for the IPv6 router request, so the attacker machine sends out a fake routing advertisement or router advertisement as a reply to that request what is generated by the client machine. It essentially tells the victim's computer, hey, I'm your new IPv6 router or DHCP server, and by the way, I'm also your DNS server for IPv6. Fine. So if you want to resolve any name into the IPv6, let me know. Fine. So because Windows prefer IPv6, the victim's machine immediately update its network configuration and prioritizing the attacker's IP address for all the DNS queries or all the DNS lookups. Fine. So for performing this attack, we basically need two tools. The first one is MITM6, man in the middle 6, and the second one is NTLM Relay, which we use from the IMPacket NTLM RelayX. So man in the middle 6, MITM6, this tool basically act as a fake router for the IPv6. It will capture the queries or request for the IPv6 configuration. Those are looking for the DHCP server version 6, and this MITM6 will spoof their identity as a DHCP server for the IPv6 and reply to the clients that, okay, this is your IPv6 configuration, I'm your router, I'm also your DNS server for IPv6. So this task is performed by the MITM6, and once the client will try to authenticate to the DNS or for any query, that basically generate the NTLM and that goes to the attacker, and because attacker also open up the NTLM relay, so instead of cracking that hash, it will relay that NTLM hash to the server via LDAPS, or it could be SMB. Fine. So let's go to the next step. First step we already saw. So here you can see in the first step that this is the client PC which is already sending out DHCP version 6 broadcast. Okay. Now in the second step, because the attacker is also connected to the same network, so attacker will say, hey, I'm your DNS server, I'm your DHCP server for IPv6, and I'm going to send you the IPv6 configuration, just update it in your network adapter. Fine. So in the third step, when the network configuration for IPv6 is accepted by the client, and then the client wants to resolve any name to the IPv6 IP address, it will go to the request goes to the DNS server. But because the DNS server is actually our attacker, so it will resolve the request and say, okay, this is the destination with IPv6 address this, and that particularly the attacker. Okay. So here in the third step, Windows routinely look for a Web Proxy Auto-Discovery, which is WPAD file. It asks its DNS server or the attacker IP of wpad.text.xor. So MITM6 happily replies, the WPAD is located at my address. So the same thing I told you, that because now the attacker is going to be the fake DHCP and DNS server, so it will send the request and responses back and forth to the client, communicate with each and every query about the WPAD2. So the WPAD IP will also be poisoned over the client. And now what happened in the next step, the client will believe the attacker as the WPAD server, and the victim machine connects via HTTP to fetch the proxy configuration. Now the attacker in this step runs the NTLM relay. So that will prompt to the client, okay, authenticate yourself, and the NTLM hash will be generated and captured by the attacker. But this time the attacker will not crack that hash, although it will relay that hash with the help of NTLM relayx. Okay, so in the final you can see that the client one will be authenticate, and it will dump all the information about the domain controller, like how many computers are there, how many users are there, what groups are there, about the trust, about the group policies and all. And that information is going to be very, very important in any Active Directory penetration testing. Fine. So you can see here NTLM relay does not try to crack the hash, instead instantly forward relay that to authenticate over the target domain controller via LDAPS. It could be LDAPS, it could be SMB, but SMB relay we already saw it in the previous session. This time we will focus on the LDAPS. Now because the NTLM hash is genuine and the authentication is genuine, so the domain controller accepts that authentication and allowing the attacker to execute high privilege commands or dump domain secrets. Fine. So this is the whole story of IPv6 DNS takeover and NTLM relay. Now let's move to the main purpose, where we are going to install MITM6, because by default when you install the Kali, you will not find it by default in your Kali machine. So MITM is there, but MITM6 is not there. Sorry, MITM dump, MITM proxy, MITM web is there, but MITM6 is not there. So you need to go to the third party and install it. So just open your browser right here, MITM6 GitHub, like this. Okay, so the very first link you get, just click on it and just go to the releases section here. Okay, and go to the latest and just get the source code in zip file. Okay, and I think it's already downloaded, so it's by default comes into the download folder. Fine. Now what I need to do here is I just want to show you apt install MITM6 like this. Okay, so it's saying unable to locate the package. So how you can do this, we can create one Python virtual environment, because the tool is based on Python. Okay, so come back here, and what I'm gonna do, I'm going to right click and extract here. Fine. Now I will copy this directory and go to the file system. Within the opt directory, I will paste that here. Fine. Now what I will do, if I open this folder or directory, you can see all of these are here and MITM is there. But before executing MITM, you need to basically install these prerequisites. So escapee module must be there, twisted module must be there, and netif face is also must be there, okay, to execute the MITM. So what I will do, okay, just go here, clear. So let's try to run the requirement.txt file first to install the requirements. So cd/opt/mitm6, okay, ls space -la to list the files and directories. You can see within MITM 6.6 0.3.0 there is MITM and requirement.txt. So I need to run it with pip. So pip install space -r requirements.txt. Hit enter and you can see it will not let you install through the pip, which is by default come with the Kali Linux, because it's saying this environment is externally managed. To install Python packages system-wide, try app install python 3 whatever the name of the package. Okay, so where XYZ is the package you are trying to install. So whether we need to try this way. So let's see if I want to try like this with apt install python hyphen, the module name is escapee. Okay, unable to locate the package. So the best way is to create an environment, virtual environment of Python and run within that. So how we will do this? We need to make sure that we create the environment python space -m venv, which is virtual environment, and we need to provide the complete path where you want to make the environment. So opt mitm6, and within that directory I want to create the environment, virtual environment. Hit enter. Okay, now the virtual environment is created, and now we need to execute it with, still if I try to execute like this, it will not. Why? Because we need to basically give it the exact environment path. So within the opt, let me just clear it so it comes here and you can easily see. So opt mitm6, within this let me just show you. After creating the environment, you can see now there are bin directory, include lib64, all these, and also pyvenv.conf. This is the configuration file for the virtual environment. So these few files and directories will be created after you create the virtual environment. Before, you don't have all of these 4 directories here, and also you don't have this one before. Okay, but once you create the virtual environment, all these files and directories will be created. Now if you go within the bin, you will find here pip, pip3, python, python3, python 3.13. so this is exactly we need to do. So within that we have bin, and inside bin we have pip. So now we will use this pip which is inside the virtual environment. So pip install space -r, and again we need to provide the complete path of our mitm6 and requirement.txt file. Fine. So if you just hit enter, now it will search, download and install all the requirements to execute man in the middle 6 mitm6. Fine. So now you can see escapee module is downloaded, twisted is also downloaded. Okay, so and also the dependencies, if you have any, it will download it with that. Now if you want to execute man in the middle, you can just go to you can just clear it. Okay, and let's go to the within the mitm 6, we also have one more MITM6. So just go inside and mitm6.py, we need to execute that. So Python 3, we are already in the mitm6-0.3.0. So let's go inside mitm6 also, and here we have our mitm6.py. Okay, this is what we need. So I'm gonna say Python mitm6.py --h for help, just execute, and you can see the command is executed successfully. That means now the mitm6 can be accessible, it can be executable, and we can use all these switches, we can use the command. If I just want to show you what command we will use, so we will use the same thing, but instead of h, okay, we will use D for the domain, and we will specify the domain name, which is test.xor, and space -- no RA means root advertisement. Okay, so we will not just broadcast the root advertisement. Okay, for the stealth purpose, so I don't want if there is any security measure there that can also get our routing advertisement or root advertisement, and we will be detected. So just do this, hit enter, and you can see now it's saying primary adapter, which is our machine adapter, which is ETH0. This is the IP address of my machine. This is IPv6 address of my machine, DNS local search domain, which is test.xor, and DNS allow list is test.xor. Now, whenever any machine is started or restarted into the network environment, it will basically broadcast for the IPv6 configuration. Look for the IPv6 DHCP server or DHCP version 6 server. So the broadcast will be cached or captured by, or will be listened by our MITM6, and then this MITM6 will reply or response to that request and say to the client machine or to the victim machine that, hey, I am your DHCP version 6 server, and this is your IPv6 configuration. I am also your DNS server for IPv6. So that will be updated on the client machine, and whenever the client look for any name to IPv6 resolution or lookup, it will directly send that request to the attacker machine, to our MITM, that, hey, I just want to look for www.test.xor.com or test.xor, sorry, www.test.xor. So please give me the IP address of this portal. So that's gonna be our next move, where we use our MITM6 with NTLM Relay, and we will see how we can perform this attack. Okay, so for now I'm just going to stop this video here, otherwise it will be too much lengthy, which I don't want. So in the next video we will perform the attack. Fine, that's it. I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye.